Are these dummies wiping off our memories before we are born? This is a very important question. We need to ask ourselves if we have existed before. I know most people believe that we have not existed before. This is our first time existing. A lot of people believe that. But why? Why do you believe that? You believe that if this was possible now, it wasn't possible back then. Like, this is the first time that life was possible. This is the first time it happened, that there is existence. This is the first time that you actually became conscious. It's like having a dream thinking that it's your first time dreaming. You don't even know that you're dreaming. So it's like having a dream thinking that that's your first time existing, until you wake up and like, oh shit, it was just a dream. Ever wondered why you forget your dreams? Do you think that you forgetting your dreams is actually a good thing? Maybe if you didn't forget your dreams, you'd confuse what happens in your dreams and what happens in your waking life. You have a dream where you're dating your crush. You wake up and you think you guys are dating. And you go and traumatize her. Is it a good thing that we don't remember our dreams? Or that should make us suspicious? Why don't we remember our dreams? You could sleep for 2 hours and have like the craziest dreams ever, then wake up and not remember much. But you've only slept for 2 hours. Like, how do you forget something that happened within 2 hours? Shouldn't that make us suspicious? I mean, we already know that it's possible to have an experience and forget that you've had that experience. We know that we don't remember 99% of our dreams. And even the dreams that we actually remember, we don't remember everything. We don't remember everything. Why? Ask yourself why. And ask yourself if that is a good thing. Don't you feel like if we remembered our dreams, we will actually get better at separating our sleeping dreams and our waking life, because we have trained ourselves to distinguish between the memories of our dreams and the memories of our waking life. Maybe in the beginning it will be confusing. If we started to remember our dreams now, that we'll be confused, right? But if we grew up remembering our dreams, we would actually learn how to distinguish between our, the memories of our dreams and the memories of our waking life. So I don't think us not remembering our dreams is a good thing. I think we do not remember our dreams because something doesn't want us to remember our dreams. Maybe if we remembered our dreams, we'd be more powerful than we are now. Don't you think it's possible that you might have existed before you were born? Some people are so certain that we didn't exist before we were born. But don't you feel like everything tells us that this is not our first time existing. You're just believing what you see now, the same way that you believe what you see in your dreams. I try my best these days to not focus a lot on the things that are happening in my personal lives. People betraying me. I try my best not to think about it. My failures. I try my best not to think about my failures. Things that I don't even want to think about. I try my best not to think about these things. Things that hurt me. I try my best not to think about these things. Things that demand my attention. I try my best not to think about these things. I try my best not to pay too much attention to the story that I'm seeing. Like, it is what it is. I'm working on detaching myself and trying to understand what reality really is. The reason why I'm doing that is because I think that's the same mistake that I make when we make in our dreams. We pay too much attention to what is happening, and we believe the story, right? We take the story as something that is real, something that is solid, right? And the stories seem to become more real the more seriously we take it. So in order to wake up, we must not take this life very seriously. Yes, things will happen that are going to want you to take life seriously, but only take life as seriously as you need to take it. What do I mean by that? Let's say someone very close to you die. You could dwell on it. Like you cry, you roll on the floor, you do not sleep, you stop everything that you are doing, you take it as a very big deal. I mean, yeah, that is a big deal, but you take it too damn seriously that it affects you. Or you could be like, okay, I know that happens, in this realm. I hate that it happens. It's messed up that it happens, but I need to focus on what I need to do. When my dad passed away, that was the mentality. I need to focus on what I need to do, because now I'm the man of the house. Now everyone is going to be looking at me. What are the decisions that I'm going to make? So I need to focus on what I need to be doing without thinking deeply about what it actually means, right? Like, my dad has passed away. Like, what does that actually mean? I would never see him again. Like, is that what I need to be thinking about? Where is he now? Is he able to watch me? Damn, life is so unfair. Is that what I need to be thinking about? Or I should just do what I need to do? So I take the situation as seriously as I need to take it, to make sure that everything that needs to happen. What I've realized when I look at my life since I was a kid is that something wanted me to suffer. That I'm not really in control of my life. You want to know what I'm in control of? What I pay attention to. That this is scripted somehow. It's like your dreams. It's like they're scripted somehow, right? You're not really, really, really in control. Like, in your dreams you can do things right and get results that do not reflect your work. It's kind of like how things work in this room. You could try so hard and life gives you an FU and you're like, what's going on here? If you dwell on the story, like I worked so hard, I tried everything, this is so bad, whatever wanted you to suffer got you. Life is unfair. You already know that. You don't even need to tell yourself that it's unfair. It isn't fair. You don't even need to think about that because it's just what is true. You know, it's not something that you must wake up in the morning and think about. Oh, life is so unfair. Oh, that person did me wrong. You know, and think about that person. You sit down and you just think about the person that did you wrong. Like you are making yourself suffer unnecessarily, even though you don't need to. You're focusing on things that are eating you. And that keeps you trapped. That keeps you trapped in this realm. So my focus is on detaching myself because I'm realizing that this is in a good place. I mean, something that I've already realized, but you know, every day when I wake up and see what's going on, I'm like, yeah, I'm right. I'm right, you know, I'm right. Is it possible that we have existed before we were born? We just forgot that we existed because there are these dummies that are wiping off our memories because they know that they've tortured us a lot in our previous lives. If we remembered how they treated us, that would be bad news for them. If we remembered how they treated us. I mean, don't you think that that's the best way for them to be able to control us, to wipe off our memories? Because if we don't know anything, how do we even figure out what we need to be doing? Nothing is explained to us. We're not told what life is, what we're supposed to be doing. There are no instructions. You know, we have been programmed to want to do things that we might not necessarily want to do. Like your body wants to do things that you might not necessarily want to do. You don't want to eat maybe for 2 days, but you become very hungry and you end up eating. You don't want to have sex, but you end up getting very horny and you have sex. You don't want to miss some people. You're like, but that person sucks, but you end up missing them. You want to be alone, but you find yourself seeking company. You don't want to work, but you know, you feel bored. So maybe that's why nothing was explained to us, is because they knew that we will do what they want us to do because they programmed us to want to do what they want us to do. So they don't need to explain anything to us. We're just born and we just do what we're programmed to do, the same way that animals do what they were programmed to do. There's this joke by Joe Rogan, and I know people don't look at Joe Rogan as a comedian, but I think he's one of the funniest comedians out there. So he's talking about cats. It's like cats seem like they don't have instincts, you know? They almost don't have instincts. Almost. Those are the fuckers that will stand by the window, and if they see a squirrel, they go like, they'll make these involuntary cat noises. And you'll be like, I had this cat in the house for 2 years. It has never been outside. But one day, it stood by the window and saw a squirrel and made those noises. Like, how does it, you know what I mean? How does it know what noises to make? And he gave this example. It's like if you You took a man and put them in a lab, and they grew up in a lab, until they're like 20, and they've never seen a naked woman. So this man has never seen a naked woman. And then as soon as you show them a naked woman, be like, trying to fuck, like how? These beings have programmed us to want to do certain things. It's like like they wrote a code in our DNA that makes us realize what they want us to do. We are prisoners, basically. We can't really control ourselves, So they didn't need to explain anything to us. They didn't need to tell us what we need to be doing, because they knew that we will be doing exactly what they want us to be doing. If it's possible to forget your dreams, is it illogical to think that it's also possible to forget your past lives? I have a feeling that this really isn't our first time around. And we have been tortured a lot in our previous lives, because these beings want something from us, and I'm willing to bet that they actually want Lush. There is some kind of energy that we are releasing when we are suffering. Not only when we're suffering, but mostly when we're suffering, that they want, that they feed out of. That is, when you think about how life works, that seems true, right? Why don't we remember anything? Some people can say, hey, it is really a good thing that we don't remember our past lives. Remember, I debated with this lady live on YouTube last year. She was saying, one of the reasons why we don't remember our past lives is because if we remember our past lives, we would not be able to heal. What if you did horrible things in your past life? You'll not be able to forgive yourself. What if something bad was done to you in your past lives? You'll not be able to forgive those who did these things to you. So it's a good thing that we don't remember our past lives. But I say, if we were having a positive experience, it will be a good thing for us to remember our past lives, because we need to also remember our lessons. What did I learn from being a Neanderthal? When I was using a stick to start fire, when I was hunting with a bow and arrow, when I couldn't even speak, what did I learn? What did I learn when I lived in Egypt? What did I learn when I crucified Jesus? What did I learn when I was Jesus? What did I learn when I was a woman? What did I learn when I was gay? What did I learn when I was a soldier? What did I learn when I was famous? When I was a king, when I had everything? What did I learn? What am I supposed to be doing now? See, if I forgot my previous experiences, if I forgot what happened to me in 2018, what happened to me in 2020, if I forgot the time when I trusted someone and they betrayed me. If I forgot the time when I loved someone and they stopped loving me, if I forgot the time when I gave it my all and still failed, would I not continue to make the same mistakes that I've made in the past and suffer because of those mistakes? But if I learn about how human beings think, if I learn about how life works, I will be able to see things more realistically. If I've seen things from the perspective of a woman, then I will understand women better. If I remember how I used to think when I was a woman, then I'll be able to understand women better. If I remember how I used to think when I was a king, then I'll be able to understand Donald Trump better. I'll be able to understand those who are on top, those who are making decisions better. I will not hate anyone because I'll be able to understand them. I've been telling y'all guys that true love is understanding. If you're a loving person, you are not judgmental. You're not judging other people. You are trying to understand them. Why does this person feel this way? Maybe when they were young, they were hurt in this way and in that way. So that's why they feel, you know what I mean? Like you get it. You're like, okay, they went through that. Because people get triggered. You know, if they've had horrible experiences in the past, they get triggered when some things happen. So if you understand them, and if they understand themselves because they have been learning, through the years of where they were reincarnating, they've been learning to self-actualize, to understand themselves, and they understand the importance of expressing themselves. So they're able to explain why they feel the way that they feel. I'm able to understand why they feel. You know what I mean? We will have strong relationships because now the relationships that we're having, it's better to be alone. No, seriously, man. If you suffer a lot because of relationships, trust me, it's better to be alone. It's better to be alone. You'd have peace, Now we don't understand one another. Now it's about power. Now it's about who has leverage. It's not about understanding. So us not remembering what happened in our past lives is not a positive thing. Yes, we have experienced a lot of pain. Of course, looking at what's happening now, it's logical to assume that we have suffered even in our past lives. But there's a lot to learn from pain. The most conscious people that I've ever interacted with are people who have suffered. People who have really suffered. People who were misunderstood. People who grew up in abusive families. People who were bullied. Like they start to operate at a very high level of consciousness because of what they've seen. They were able to see the truth. While other people were lying to themselves, they were able to see the truth. So it's logical to assume that if these dummies are wiping off our memories, they are not wiping off our memories for a good reason. They are wiping off our memories because they are afraid of us. They know that if we knew what happened in our past lives, they'll be in deep shit. Now we're all confused. Now we don't know what we're doing. Everyone's coming up with their own theories about what life is because we're all confused. Like, what the heck is this? What the heck am I supposed to be doing? How the heck am I supposed to be feeling? What the heck am I supposed to believe? We're all confused. That is not a good thing. Don't let anyone lie to you. Being confused is not a good thing. We need the truth. Some people end up ending their own lives because they're tired. They're tired of being confused. they're tired of suffering. They're tired of feeling alone. They don't know. They don't know what they're supposed to be doing. It's frustrating to think about the fact that you don't know what the heck this is. You might have done a lot of work to figure out what really makes sense to believe. And that's what I'm focusing on this channel. I'm not trying to be biased. I'm not trying to make you believe something that I want you to believe or anything like that. I'm trying to figure out what really makes sense. So I think as rationally as possible, as deeply as possible, and tell you what I found. So yes, you might think as rationally as possible and figure out what really makes sense, but you never got confirmation that what you have found out is really the truth. So you're still confused. There's still some doubt in you, because there should be doubt if you don't know anything for sure. There should be doubt. When you look at what some people are able to do, things that some people are able to get away with, the power that some people have, that makes you feel very insignificant. Like, why am I poor and suffering while there are people who can do whatever they want? This reminds me of the TV series Westworld. If you haven't watched Westworld, watch it. You probably cry watching it, because it's like you realize that what's happening in Westworld is exactly what's happening in this realm. So Westworld is set in futuristic theme park. Where people go to satisfy their deepest desires. There are lifelike robots that were put there that are actually conscious. These lifelike robots are not able to harm those who pay money to go and satisfy their deepest desires. Like, they do whatever they want to do. Once they get there, they can hunt these robots and try and unalive them. Rapists can go there and rape these robots. And what happens after they've been unalived, they use technology to wipe off their memories so that they forget what they experienced, and then life starts again. And the process happens every day. Life starts again, and some of them will kind of like have memories of their past, but not the same way that you remember your dreams, and they'll be like, oh, it's just dreams. But you find that it wasn't dreams. It really did happen. They meet, so some of these people who will go there will keep on going there. So they will recognize their faces, like, I've seen this person before. But they keep wiping off their memories, torturing them in the worst possible way. Sometimes you find that some of these hosts, they call them hosts, these robots, sometimes they would have children, and then, these people who go to this theme park, they will unalive their children, and they'll be traumatized, they will cry, believing that everything that is happening is real, and then they wipe off their memories, and then the whole thing starts again. Understand how messed up that is? And they were conscious, meaning that they were aware of what was actually going on. They were suffering because of what was actually going on. When you look at the way that life works, you're like, there are people who are just on top, man. Yeah, how does anyone get to the top? How does anyone get to make decisions for everyone? What if not every person that's here is really like us? Maybe some people know what this is, and they just won't tell us because they are playing a game with us. They are having fun. Starting wars, look at what's happening in Congo. More than 100 women were raped by prisoners. Why does that happen in this realm? Why does that happen? What good can come out of that? Like it's not supposed to happen now. Like we're supposed to have evolved a lot that stuff like that shouldn't be happening. We should all be shocked. The whole world should be shocked that that happened. But that's entertainment for most people. Like they just look at it as entertainment. They don't really care. The whole world should have stopped. Be like, we're not gonna allow that in our world. That shouldn't happen. We should say no as a collective. That should not happen. We don't want things like that to happen in a world that we're bringing children into, because they're not asking to be brought here. So why do we allow nonsense like that to happen? It seems like people who are in power want this kind of things to be happening, and they pretend as if they don't. Why are there wars? Why does a person decide that they want to start a war? For what reason? Instead of communicating. We can communicate. We're not like animals. But there must be wars. Where soldiers are sent. There's a guy that I know who died. He was a soldier. Because South African soldiers were also sent there to, I think they're supposed to protect Congo. Yeah, the people who are sending the soldiers, they're sitting comfortably chowing their money. If the soldiers refuse to go, they lose their jobs. They don't really have a choice. The things that we go through as conscious beings, trust me, if we kept on remembering our past lives, I don't know how we'll be living now. Like most people will have lost interest already. But if we don't remember anything, we think this is our first time around. We're very excited. Remember when you were a kid, you were very excited about life. When I was a kid, I was so full of life, man. There was this spark inside. I was excited about everything. When my mom came back home from town, I'll be happy. I would run and hug her. When I saw my dad, I'll always be happy. But as you get older, like that spark dies. My nephew, I haven't seen my nephew in a while. Because I came this side around October. My dad died in September. He died when I was this side, actually. So I went back home. Then after we buried my dad on the 1st of October, I came this side. So I never went back home since then. So I know that when I go back home, my nephew will be so damn happy. Like he'll run towards me. My sister always won't run towards me. My youngest sister was born in 2006 actually, from another mother, and my youngest sister from my mom and my dad was born in 2004. Then the sister that comes after me, she was born in 1998. They're very young, right? So they should run towards me and hug me, but they wouldn't. Why? Because as you get older, that thing goes away. Like that spark goes away. When we were young, when they were young, they used to hug me. They used to hug me, but that spark goes away as you get older because of the suffering that you end up having to endure as a conscious being in this hellish realm. So can you imagine if we remembered our past lives? We would be traumatized. Like people wouldn't even want to go out, bro. Like because we're experiencing hell, and not for our own good. Right? We're experiencing hell, and not for our own good. It's not because we're learning and some lessons. It's not because our souls are evolving. They'll be like, yeah, your soul is evolving. Like, what are you telling me? My soul ain't evolving because of this BS experience that I'm having. No. I'm becoming mean. I'm becoming bitter. I feel like I want to be alone. I feel like I don't want to let anyone in. I actually desire non-existence. You cannot tell me that's my soul evolving. Like, nah, something's wrong. So we'll be lying to ourselves if we tell ourselves that us forgetting our past lives is a good thing. I do believe that there are these dummies that are wiping off our memories. They're using technology to wipe off our memories, make sure that we don't remember anything. Once we're born, we forget. And maybe it does happen that sometimes a mistake happened and you find that a person is born and they still remember their past lives. We have wise documentaries of kids who seem to remember their past lives, who seem to remember their previous parents, siblings, friends, and they will tell these people stories that only they would have known before they died. Find that a kid is born in Iraq and they remember being born in South Africa the first time. They remember the names of their parents. They remember the language that they spoke. They remember where they died, how they died. Like, maybe it's not true. Maybe it's all made up. Maybe they're just trying to make money. They tell these kids what to say. It's possible. Anything is possible in this realm. But there are people who say they remember their past lives, even if they're not making money. Telling there are people that I know who tell me that they do remember some things, and there's this I don't know what they call past life regression or something like that. Yeah, I think they put you like they make you sleep, right? Put you in this state where like between waking up and dreaming, and they're able to talk to you like, and you kind of remember your past, right? There's this song called Reincarnation by Kendrick Lamar where he says he did past life regression, and he remember being a musician back then, remember being famous back then. He remembers being the devil. I thought that was a dope song. Kendrick can be very creative. And he said, yeah, now I'm Kendrick Lamar, and he raps about how he is now. But yeah, there are people who say that they've done past life regression and they do remember their past lives. It's interesting. But because life is suffering, I do genuinely think that we wouldn't be so excited about life if we remembered our past lives. Like, we would have learned too many lessons because we would have experienced life from different perspectives. If I only remember experiencing life as Benedictine, and Benedictine has had a great time here, he suffered but not that much, things just made sense. It seemed like the universe was on his side. Of course everyone suffers, but he felt like life was fair to him. He's praising God. God is good all the time because things are going well for him, and he looks at other people and he's like, shit, they might not be thanking God enough. That's why they're suffering. They might have sinned. Those people, there's no way a person can go through that. God is good all the time. All the time God is good. Those ones they still have to learn some lessons. That's why they're going through what they're going through. God is good all the time. All the time God. Those ones, they don't have faith. They don't have faith in God. That's the problem. You know what I mean? Benedictine would be so damn ignorant because he's only experiencing life from the perspective of a Benedictine. But if he experienced life from the perspective of some kid that died of cancer at age 5, of a woman that was raped in prison by these guys, they call them MK23 or something like that. Experienced life from the perspective of some dude that wrote in a concentration camp, right? He wrote on the wall that if God exists, you would need to beg for my forgiveness. Like, he was tortured so much for being alive, for being born in a certain place, that he realized how unfair it was. Like, damn, I did nothing wrong. I don't deserve to be tortured like this. So he wrote, if God exists, he would have to beg for my forgiveness. If God exists, he would have to beg for my forgiveness. Because the things that I've been through are too much. Why create sentient beings and have them go through what I went through? Allow other sentient beings to torture me the way that they've tortured me, even though I didn't do anything. If you experience life from their perspective, if you experience life from different perspectives, of course, you'll be able to see things more realistically. You'll be able to see that this is BS. If you experience life from a perspective of a dog that was abandoned and that died of hunger, you know what I mean? You have to understand that it's not only humans that are suffering. Animals are also suffering. Animals are also struggling, trying to survive. It's pain. Life is pain. Not just for humans, but for animals. And they go through the worst. Maybe they're not as conscious as we are, so they might not really understand how bad things are for them. But because we're conscious, we look at them and be like, damn, I can't imagine being a rabbit. Every day when I wake up, I'm afraid. I'm afraid that a predator might attack me. So there are many predators out there. It's not like it's just lions, it's not just hyenas, it's not just wild dogs. There's many different predators that can unalive me. Plus, it's possible to get sick. Plus, it's possible to lose a loved one. It's just a mess. It's just a mess. So we suffer in so many different ways. Some people think suffering is a person getting aped. It's a person being born in poverty. Sometimes you suffer because of relationships. You have all the money in the world. The person that you loved betrayed you and is with someone else, and you've given them a lot of energy. Now you are in the process of trying to heal from that. It's a lot. You have everything, but you're not happy because maybe you were abused when you were young. Other people are looking at you and they're like, hey, that person must be happy because they have everything, but you're not happy because of what you have seen in your life. Maybe you have mental health issues. Maybe you're just not healthy. So you have money, but you're not healthy. So I remember this rich person who said that they will give away all their money for good health, because they were sick. It's just a lot of things that people go through. And even if you're not going through anything, anxiety, you can have anxiety. You're afraid to lose what you have, so you stress every day. How can I protect what I have, because I don't want to lose what I have. You see, sentient beings truly do go through a lot in this film. So it gets to a point where you ask yourself if it's really worth it, if we are really having a positive experience, or if we are being tortured. And it feels that way when you look at the way things work, when you look at the fact that we know nothing. We're just doing what we're programmed to do, and what we're programmed to do is causing a lot of suffering, a lot of unnecessary suffering. Sentient beings are struggling. Like, I wouldn't want to be another person. I mean, I do struggle a lot, but I'm like, kind of used to my own suffering. I just hope that I don't come back and have to get used to this again, because this sucked, you know. If there are beings that are wiping off our memories, is there something that we can do as conscious beings to set ourselves free, even if we don't remember our past lives? It's a very important question. And I would like you guys to tell me in the comment. You can pause this video and try to think and tell me in the comments, like, what do you think we're supposed to do? We know nothing, right? We know nothing about our past lives. We don't remember our dreams. We're just here. But we can sense that something is awfully wrong. And we don't know what we need to do to make things right. People have done a lot of different things in the past to make things right, but they weren't successful. So we don't know what we're supposed to be doing. How do we set ourselves free? Are we supposed to just suffer until maybe the gods are satisfied? Until they're like, oh, that's enough. Or there are things that we can do to set ourselves free. Can we be completely detached from this realm? Will that work? Or will we find ourselves experiencing physical suffering? Find that you're detached from this world emotionally, and then now you're sick. Because these gods are not able to get loose from you anymore, so they have to make you sick. What are we supposed to be doing? I think as conscious beings, figuring out what we need to be doing, that should be our focus. We must keep on working so that we keep on evolving, keep on reaching higher levels of awareness, figuring out how to heal our traumas. Our traumas do hold us back. That is true. Some of you are superhumans, but because of your traumas, you hold yourselves back. You stand in your own way because of what you experienced in your past. Keep on telling y'all that don't let what happened in your past stop you. You gotta try to be the best version of yourself right now. Yes, there's pain. Yes, there's doubt. There's uncertainty. There's self-loathing. But that doesn't mean we should let the world turn us into what it wanted to turn us into. We can fight. You know, I'm learning to stand for myself, stand up for myself, you know. against whatever forces, that are controlling this room. And see how far I can go. Thank you all, guys.